Hello, dear friends of pleasure. If you want to become a master at stimulating her clitoris and make her scream with desire, you are definitely in the right place. Did you know that up to 80% of women do not reach orgasm solely through vaginal penetration? This means that most women generally need stimulation of their clitoris to reach climax. That is why I find it extremely important for you to learn the skills and techniques that I have gathered for you in this video. So let's dive into this video and I'll show you how to become a master of clitoral stimulation. I will give you 8 techniques that will drive your partner crazy with pleasure. Make sure to stay until the end because I will share a secret technique with you that sets you apart from all of her ex-lovers and is particularly well received by couples. My name is Antje, your sex sense coach, and I help you with desire and frustration in your love life. Just give it a try with foreplay over the clothing, whether it's pants, a dress, or a skirt, depending on what she is wearing. Start slowly and touch your partner's vulva over the clothing she is currently wearing. It is important that you explore her entire body gradually and work your way from the outside to the inside. Part of this teasing can involve using your entire hand to encompass and embrace her vulva over her pants. So basically, it depends on the angle at which you are standing. The focus is not directly on her clitoris, which means there is no direct stimulation, but rather a massage or pressure over the area to engage the entire vulva. This stimulates her clitoris, increases blood flow, arouses her, and thereby develops the appropriate level of moisture, making her ready for more direct stimulation. Perhaps a brief side note on the difference between the vulva and the vagina. The vulva is basically what you see from the outside, and the vagina is what lies hidden. Once your partner is no longer wearing any underwear, you can put some of your favorite lubricant on your fingers and start to tease her pubic mound and the clitoral hood. One of the biggest mistakes that men make during clitoral stimulation is often that they directly lift this little hood and stimulate directly on the so-called clitoral glands. And that is an absolute no-go because this can be very uncomfortable for most women and can sometimes even be painful. Moreover, it is an absolute mood killer and can quickly bring the hot atmosphere you may have painstakingly built up to a low point. Start by slowly stimulating the clitoral hood. And this method is also an indirect approach. At the same time, you give the woman a bit more time to warm up and gradually get ready for you. You can stimulate the clitoral hood by gently pressing the tips of your thumb and index finger together on the sides of the clitoris and making a gentle up and down motion. However, do not lose sight of your partner while you are massaging her. You might also find it quite pleasant if your partner guides you so that you know how she reacts to certain things, to certain touches. Perhaps she wants it faster, slower, softer, or firmer. By guiding you, you will also learn her body language very intensively, and exactly this small detail, how and when to apply which touch, will later enable you to become the best orgasm helper who can enchant her. Start slowly by gently kissing her outer labia and slowly teasing the clitoral hood with your tongue. Let your lips almost touch her clitoris, still not directly, so she can feel the warmth of your breath. Tease her a little here again. Breathe in a few times and exhale slowly, so that she can enjoy the comforting feeling of your warm breath. But as mentioned, do not touch her directly on the clitoris, yet so your partner can relax a bit, and you can also give her the feeling that you feel good where you are right now. Also feel free to tell her that you find it really beautiful, how she looks in her intimate area, and how much you enjoy pampering her there. Since there are still some women who feel very ashamed about this, it is very important that you communicate your mood, your feelings, and what you are currently thinking. Otherwise, she quickly becomes insecure or might think that you are only doing it to do her a favor. Of course, you should really enjoy doing it, otherwise it comes off as fake and doesn't seem authentic. So keep your lips very close to her clitoris and gently stroke with your fingertips from above down onto the clitoral hood, right in the center. So earlier we had the sides, and now we are practically at the clitoral level, right in the middle. And when you are about to touch her clitoris, just lift your finger for a moment, essentially skipping over it to avoid direct contact, to tease her a little more. Otherwise, you can also stimulate the vaginal opening up to the lower part of the vulva a little bit and gently lift your finger back up, possibly lightly touching the walls of the inner labia. Repeat the process, but do so without directly touching the naked clitoris. After you have repeated this process a few times, take your thumb and index finger and gently grasp the clitoris between your fingers, massaging it back and forth, first from top to bottom, and then from bottom to top. You repeat this process a few more times and then pay attention to your partner's reaction. It is important to keep the clitoris moist with each touch, using either your saliva or lubricant. At this point, your partner will likely already be quite aroused, and all of this without direct clitoral stimulation. Now we move on to stimulation with your tongue. Now it's time for your tongue to be put to use. The best method to touch exposed and bare clitoris for the first time is a nice, soft and moist tongue. So gently pull back her clitoral hood by lightly lifting the cap upwards, and underneath you will see the bare clitoris, also known as the clitoral glands. Lick very gently from top to bottom first, and then try a change of direction from bottom to top. If this is uncomfortable for your partner, stick to the direction from top to bottom. Gradually, you will also notice how your partner's vulva slowly swells or is already swollen, and the erectile tissues are fully in action. The clitoris will also proudly arch upwards and is likely already fully erect. With the lateral movement technique, you now need to stroke sideways over the clitoral hood with some pressure and speed using your fingers or your tongue. Also ask again how your partner prefers it in terms of pressure and speed. When you stimulate her with your hand, you can also take her hand and place it on yours so she can guide you and show you how she likes it best. You pay close attention, and the next time you try it without her help. By the way, this is an extremely effective way to also create a certain connection. Because just by showing you how she wants it and you executing it exactly that way, it creates an incredible cycle of arousal. And if you manage to stimulate her the way she showed you now, or the last time, you will be her hero. Because you listened and responded to her, and that is what we women always wish for. Write her name with a tongue in approximately 8 cm large letters across her entire intimate area. That means take your tongue tip and lick the individual letters of her name. By licking the letters, you also immediately bring a certain diversity and variation into play. If your tongue gets tired, you can either rest your tongue on your lips and continue with the underside of your tongue. Alternatively, you can simply continue with relaxed or pursed lips. While you lick her name or the alphabet, you can also simultaneously insert your fingers into her vagina using the so-called cum motion and stimulate her G-spot. In 2001, I will show you how to find the G-spot in one of my next videos. Of course, you can also slide your finger deeper inside her and stimulate her vagina here with circular movements or in and out motions. Or you try to spread your fingers. This can also be quite stimulating for your partner. If you're now wondering how many fingers I can use on her, just start with 1, then increase to 2. And you can always ask if she would like to have more fingers inside her. Now for the heart opener. The heart opener is a technique where you first take your palm and cover her entire vulva with it. So, start by vibrating your hand by applying some pressure so that your hand bones are resting on her clitoris and your fingers cover her outer and inner labia, so the fingers are pointing down. Let your hand and arm vibrate. And if your partner has already had 1 or 2 orgasms, this movement could also quickly bring your partner to the next orgasm. Make sure to check if she is not too sensitive. This might give you a little time, and pay attention to her reaction when you touch her. In the best case, it can naturally lead to another orgasm. In some cases, it can also naturally lead to another orgasm. After this point, it is time for the heart opener, which is especially suitable for those in love. I would say less with one-night stands, but you can still give it a try. Here, you place your hand again on the pubic bone, but this time with the center of your palm and your hand on her clitoris. Your fingers are now pointing in the opposite direction and are resting on the pubic mound. So you hold her vulva with one hand and place the other on her heart. Just hold her gently and let it all sink in for a bit. Let her feel the safety and security that you care for her, and send all your love through your hands into her heart and her vulva, or you can simply keep them still. The feeling of your hands on her heart after an orgasm and on her body at the same time is a very intense and very comforting sensation. And it may also be that just this holding can stimulate sexual arousal, leading us to a deep orgasm with the emotions that are triggered in the process. When she has orgasms, tell her how much you love watching her during orgasm and how beautiful it is when she has an orgasm. After these experiences, you can look deeply into her eyes once more and feel free to thank her again for this beautiful experience. Believe me, it is not at all a given that every partner is always so open and intimate with you and her body. Take her arm again to cuddle a bit if she wants that, or give her space if she simply wants to be in her own happiness. Now you know the universal 8 techniques to make her scream with pleasure. You also know how to become a master of clitoral stimulation. And if you use one of these techniques, I would of course love to hear about your experiences. Share it in the comments and let me know which one definitely worked best for you and your partner, please. I wish you lots of fun trying it out. Good pleasure, and see you in the next video.